Hey guys, this is David Snyder. I am one of the councilmen here in Tyrone, Pennsylvania, and welcome to the first episode, introductory episode of the Hub of the Highways, which is going to be a Tyrone area podcast. In this introduction, I wanted to share with you a little bit of what we wanted to accomplish with this. What's the point of it? But then also what the motivation was to create it, and in a very real way, and essentially to apologize for a couple of things, if I'm being honest. But then also just what to look forward to. And this is the first episode, so it's not going to be finely polished. It's just my office. It's a bare wall. We have 3 kids that run around the house constantly, so it's a mess. I have the camera pointed just right so you don't see the catastrophe that's behind me. The real thrust behind doing this is twofold. One, to keep people better informed and on what's going on within the borough, on what's happening with from the borough council side of things, what is going on, what's being discussed, which is what we were doing on my Facebook page for a number of years, through live streams, through just Q&As and things like this. We did that ever since the beginning in 2017, around I want to say around May or June is when we started doing our live streams. And so this is going to take place of that, because this, I think, is going to become more regular than a monthly live stream that we were doing. This is going to be probably more weekly, but we want to keep people better informed, and this is going to be a great way to do it, because we're going to have the video on Facebook as per normal. It's going to be polished a little bit. I think some editing would be involved. There won't be lives. We'll still do lives and do Q&As. This venue is going to be just a quick 1 to 5 minute update. Here's what you need to know. Here's the bullet points. You may now go on with your lives. There's a reason why we elect representatives. We don't have time. So this is just one more venue for you to stay informed on what's happening. And I'm excited to offer that to you. Honestly, this is really great. But then also, and it's coming second only because I want to focus on it a bit more, just to describe what's going on. There is a significant need, and this is coming from a bird's eye view, I would say, because all of us on council, we have a bit broader of a perspective, because we hear from a lot of people more consistently than those who are in just specific groups. You're a part of these amazing organizations, but you don't necessarily, you could, but you may not have a bird's eye, a broad perspective of what's going on throughout the community. What is going on over here? What's happening here in this organization could impact this organization, because they're both trying to do the same things. They need to connect. So, but they don't, because they don't know they're both doing the same things. So there's a consistent need to offer a platform for people to know what's going on, to hear the updates. And the Tyrone Chamber is also doing this through through an event calendar that's a community wide. That's what you have to look forward to. Honestly, in this podcast, you're going to be better informed than at least what I've been able to do for you guys in the last several years with the live streams. This will be more consistent. But then also, it's going to celebrate the people who are constantly working, that I know are working, because I have a bird's eye view over what's going on. And even I don't know everything, so I'm still learning of what's really happening. So this is going to be great. Like, this is going to benefit me as it is to those, I hope, it will benefit me. I hope it benefits you. And if you want to hop off now and just wait for the next episode, more than great. But here is something I wanted to say, and I want to say this. In recent years, we have become so calloused to raising prices and inflation. It's become and for good reason, it's become a sore spot, but it's also become a callous for many of us, because we're just so used to it. Of course, price increases are taking place. Of course it's going to happen. Of course it's going to happen. And we just expect it. I wanted to use this intro to officially apologize for something that I let slide without thinking about the ramifications of it. We didn't have a choice, and I'm referring to the Bergmeyer contract price increase. We honestly didn't have a choice. Bergmeyer, and we have looked into it since then, and we did proactively reach out. I've learned to multiple haulers, like, hey, we're going out to bid. Bergmeyer was the only bid that came in. And even when we touched base with the other folks, they still were the cheapest. But Bergmeyer's price increase, the reason I'm apologizing isn't because we signed on with Bergmeyer, because there was no other option. But the reason I want to apologize is because it became such a normality for us that it never even registered. I didn't actively think about that. It's like, I'm not going to tell them that they'll take it. That's not what entered. It never crossed my mind to mention it because it's become so normal to me. I own businesses. I've sold a few. I still have a business where I design websites. So you have, in that world, we just become used to this. Of course, this is a natural thing. For some reason, it never crossed my mind that there are people, like a lot of people, this is going to impact. And they need to know it before it happens. It just never occurred to me. And I spent probably a good week after the price increase happened, mourning the fact that I dropped the ball on that. And I'm not the only one. I can only account for me. And I know that in the past I have made a point to make that known. I want to officially apologize to you because ultimately that was a failure on my part to inform you. Now the Daily Herald was there and the Altoona Mirror has access. And there are many other avenues where that information could have gotten out to you. Perhaps Bergmeyer should have notified people. That would have been good. We're looking into better ways of doing it. But if I'm being truly honest, after a week of soul searching and figuring out, like, why didn't it even enter my mind? Like, and it really bothered me. It's like, what the hell am I doing here? Like, that's what was going through. It's like, why didn't I do that? What came out of that, and I prayed over it. I literally went to God and I repented. Like, I failed at this. Why did I do? The idea that came out of that time of soul searching was, let's create a podcast where we are going to inform people, spend more time on it, and not wait for a monthly live stream, but to give you, when we have information, the update the moment we can, so that you can be better informed moving forward. The best thing I can do is to make up for it. And this is what I'm going to try to do. So I ask for your forgiveness. I want you to see this podcast as the way that I'm making amends. I am going to try my best to be as consistent as possible. My goal is weekly, but that's it. Oh, and before we sign off, the next episode is going to be within the next week. We're going to be talking with some folks at the Good Shepherd about the closet that they have there. That is free, but this is super fun. But why Hub of the Highways? This is a neat little trivia. Did you know that Hub of the Highways is actually what Tyrone was nicknamed from the early to mid 1900s? So about 1950s, 1960s is when it went away. The reason we were called Hub of the Highways, guys, is because we had the railroad, we had the highway, which is the old 220, all of which came through town. Major hub for the Altoona Railroad, or the PRR. The paper mill used the waterways as transportation for materials. Believe it or not, the last time I checked, and this would have been about 4 years ago, our waterways, so the little Juniata of the Bald Eagle, these things are still listed as highways, as within the realm of transportation. Like, these waterways are still listed as that. They're known as public transportation. It's interesting. But we were called Hub of the Highways. So I wanted to call the podcast something that honors the past, but then also looks forward to what we are going to become again in the future. But that's it, guys. Introduction done. This is the first episode. I really appreciate you guys joining me for this. I already have the Church of the Good Shepherd as being one of the organizations in Tyrone who offers a valuable service for you. They're going to come up here in the next week or so that we can start showcasing for them what it is that they offer. So look for that. And then also we're going to do a podcast here in the following week on just updates on borough news and things like this. I'm going to meet with the borough manager and get some updates on some stuff, and then we're gonna tackle that too. So let's make this weekly. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for listening, and I will chat with you soon.